Got it. A mock MNC interview for a software engineer role. Let's make it for a mid-level software engineer 2-4 years experience, as this often involves a good mix of technical, behavioral, and problem-solving questions. Here's the transcript. You can imagine this as an audio recording, and try to listen for the nuances, the questions, and the candidate's responses. Mock MNC interview. Mid-level software engineer. Participants. Interviewer 1, HR, hiring manager, Mr. Ankit Sharma, AS. Interviewer 2, technical lead, Ms. Priya Singh, PS. Candidate, Ms. Riya Patel, RP. Sound of a video call connecting, a slight pause, then greetings. As. Good afternoon, Riya. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Ankit Sharma, and I'm a hiring manager here at Global Tech Solutions. With me is Priya Singh, one of our technical leads. How are you doing today? RP. Good afternoon, Mr. Sharma, Ms. Singh. I'm doing well, thank you. Very excited to be here. As. Excellent. Let's start with a brief introduction. Riya, could you please tell us a bit about yourself and your journey in software engineering so far? RP. Certainly. I'm Riya Patel, and I'm a passionate software engineer with about 3 years of experience, primarily focused on developing scalable web applications. I graduated from XYZ University with a bachelor's in computer science. My previous role at Innovate Solutions involved working on their flagship e-commerce platform, where I contributed significantly to the backend development using Java, Spring Boot, and microservices architecture. I also have experience with front-end technologies like React, JS, and have a strong understanding of database design and cloud platforms, specifically Oz. I'm always eager to learn new technologies and apply them to solve real-world problems. Thank you, Riya. That gives us a good overview. Priya, would you like to take over the technical deep dive? PS. Yes, absolutely. Hi Riya, nice to meet you. Let's get into some technical aspects. You mentioned Java and Spring Boot. Could you explain the concept of dependency injection in Spring and why it's beneficial? RP. Hi Priya. Dependency injection, or D, is a core concept in Spring that helps manage components and their dependencies. Instead of objects creating or looking up their dependencies, D allows the Spring IOC container to inject these dependencies into the object. This promotes loose coupling, making code more modular, testable, and maintainable. For example, rather than a user service creating its own user repository instance, Spring injects a user repository instance into the user service. PS. Excellent. Now, let's talk about databases. Imagine we have a large e-commerce database, and we need to fetch all orders placed by a specific customer within a given date range. The orders table has millions of records. What indexing strategy would you recommend for optimal performance on the customer_id and order_date columns, and why? RP. For that scenario, I would recommend a composite index on customer_id, order_date. The order of columns in the index is crucial here. We'd put customer_id first because queries are likely to filter by a specific customer ID, narrowing down the search space significantly. Then, order_date as the second column in the index would allow for efficient range scans within that customer's orders. This allows the database to quickly locate relevant customer records and then efficiently navigate through their orders by date, avoiding full table scans. PS. Good explanation. Let's move to system design. You're tasked with designing a URL shortening service, similar to Bitly. Can you walk me through the high-level design, focusing on the core components and how you would ensure unique short URLs and handle redirects efficiently? RP. Pauses to think briefly. Okay, for a URL shortening service, the core components would be API gateway, load balancer, to handle incoming requests and distribute them. Short URL generation service. This service would take the long URL, generate a unique short code, and store the mapping. For uniqueness, we could use a hash function like MD5 or SHA-256 on the long URL combined with a counter or timestamp, then encode the hash to a base 62 string 09, A to Z to get a compact short code. We'd also need to check for collisions and regenerate if one occurs. Alternatively, a pre-generated pool of unique IDs could be used. Database. A NoSQL database like Cassandra or MongoDB would be good for storing the short underscore code to long underscore URL mapping due to its high write throughput and scalability. A key value store would be ideal. Redirection service. This is the service that receives the short URL, looks up the corresponding long URL in the database, and performs an HTTP 301 permanent redirect or 302 temporary redirect to the original long URL. Caching layer. A distributed cache like Redis or Memcached would be crucial for the redirection service. We'd cache frequently accessed short URLs to reduce database load and improve redirection latency. For ensuring uniqueness, the hash-based approach with collision resolution is robust. For redirects, the caching layer is key to efficiency, along with direct database lookups for cache misses. P.S. That's a solid high-level overview. Let's switch gears slightly. Tell me about a challenging technical problem you faced in your previous role and how you approached solving it. RP. In my previous role, we were experiencing intermittent high latency on a critical API endpoint responsible for user profile updates. It was difficult to pinpoint because the issue wasn't consistent. My approach was multifaceted. First, I started by analyzing server logs and metrics for that specific endpoint, looking for patterns related to request volume, database query times, and CPU memory usage. I then used a distributed tracing tool to trace individual requests through our microservices architecture. This revealed that the bottleneck wasn't the API service itself, but a downstream call to an external third-party service that was occasionally timing out, causing a cascading effect. To resolve it, we implemented a circuit breaker pattern using hystrix or similar around the external API call, which would temporarily block calls to that service if it was failing repeatedly, preventing our service from getting stuck. We also introduced a configurable timeout for that specific external call and implemented retry logic with exponential backoff. This significantly improved the endpoint stability and responsiveness. P.S. That's a great example of debugging and applying design patterns to solve real-world issues. My last technical question: how do you keep your technical skills updated with the rapidly evolving software landscape? RP. I make it a point to dedicate time to continuous learning. I regularly follow tech blogs and news sites like Hacker News, InfoQ, and specific language framework communities. I also engage in online courses on platforms like Coursera or Udemy for deeper dives into new technologies. Attending webinars and virtual conferences is also very helpful. And most importantly, I try to apply what I learn through personal projects or by proposing new approaches in my work, as hands-on experience solidifies understanding. P.S. Excellent, Ankit, I'm done from my end. Thank you, Priya. Ria, just a couple more questions from my side, more focused on your professional approach. How do you handle constructive criticism or feedback on your code or work? RP. I view constructive criticism as a valuable opportunity for growth. My first step is always to listen carefully and understand the feedback completely, asking clarifying questions if necessary. I try to separate my ego from my work and focus on the technical merits of the suggestions. If it's code review, I'll analyze the proposed changes, discuss alternatives if I have a different perspective, and then integrate the improvements. Ultimately, my goal is to deliver the best possible solution, and feedback from peers or leads is crucial for that. Good to hear. Finally, where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? RP. In the next 3 to 5 years, I aim to be a more accomplished and impactful software engineer, potentially taking on more lead responsibilities. I want to continue deepening my expertise in scalable system design and architecture, perhaps specializing further in cloud-native applications or distributed systems. I'm also keen on mentoring junior developers and contributing to the overall technical direction of the team. I'm looking for a company like Global Tech Solutions where I can continuously learn, be challenged, and make a significant contribution to innovative products. Thank you, Ria. That's all the questions we have for you today. Do you have any questions for us regarding the role, the team, or Global Tech Solutions? RP. Yes, I do have a couple of questions. First, could you tell me more about the typical team structure for a software engineer in this department and how cross-functional collaboration works here? Certainly. Our typical development team consists of 5 to 7 engineers, a dedicated QA, a product owner, and a Scrum Master. We operate in agile sprints, and cross-functional collaboration is key. Engineers frequently interact with product, design, and even business stakeholders, especially during requirement gathering and UAT phases. Priya, would you like to add anything from the technical team's perspective? P.S. Yes, we encourage open communication. Code reviews are collaborative, and we have regular tech sharing sessions. We also have guilds for different technical interests where engineers can discuss best practices and new technologies. RP, that sounds great. My second question is, what are the primary technologies or major projects the team is currently focusing on or planning to work on in the near future? PS, we're currently in the middle of migrating some legacy services to a new microservices architecture on AWS, primarily using Spring Boot and Kafka. We're also exploring adopting Kubernetes for container orchestration. In the near future, we plan to invest more in AI/ML integration into our products, which will involve new data pipelines and machine learning models. RP, that sounds like a very exciting roadmap. Thank you for that information. I don't have any further questions at this moment. Alright, Ria. Thank you again for your time today. We'll be in touch regarding the next steps within the next few business days. RP, thank you, Mr. Sharma, Ms. Singh. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Have a good day. You too. Goodbye. Sound of call disconnecting. How to use this for a listening exercise. Read through it once or twice. Get a general sense of the conversation. Imagine it being read aloud. Pay attention to the flow, pauses, and the back and forth. Identify key terms. What technical jargon is used? Are there any specific phrases related to the job, e.g., loose coupling, circuit breaker pattern? Note the question types. Are they behavioral, technical, situational? Assess the candidate's responses. Are they clear, concise, well-structured? Did they directly answer the question? Practice your own answers. For each question, try formulating your own response as if you were the candidate. Consider the non-verbal cues if it were real: tone of voice, confidence, hesitation. I hope this helps you with your listening exercise. Let me know if you'd like another one with different roles or scenarios.